Here at Unlimited Cosmetology, we are now offering our aesthetic program and services to the public. Please come down and enjoy a massage or facial. We offer waxing, lashes, and brow services. Call and set up your appointment today. Services start at 5 p.m. We're located at 102 Broad Street in Hattiesburg.
So happy that you joined me today. You know, every time I come on, I said I'm excited about my guest, but I am really excited about my guest today because he's a household name. Some of you will know him. Most of you will know him. He is a Mississippi teacher. He won the Mississippi Teacher of the Year, America's Outstanding Teacher of Performing Arts, the Milken Educator Award. He's the author of The Doctor, the Katrina Project, Hell and High Water. By now, you probably know who it is. He has been a part of Tourism Commission, the Election Commission. He's been chair of the Mississippi Pinnacle Awards. He's a producer of Hattiesburg Hall of Fame, and the list just goes on and on and on. I mean, it would take all the rest of the show to tell you about what all he's done. But at this time, I'd like to welcome to the program none other than Mr. Michael Marks.
Dr. Hopkins, it is a pleasure for me to be here as well. And like you, retirement doesn't agree with me.
Yes.
So we don't want to sit still.
That's right. We want to keep moving. You got to keep it moving.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. And when I met you that day at Corner Market and we talked about it, I was excited.
Yes.
Because I know you had a lot to share.
Yes.
Yes. And I hope some of your former students are watching this program.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, yes. You know, my daughter was in your drama club.
Oh, I remember her well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we traveled all over the South.
All over
with
the
the
South.
Debate team.
Right.
Yeah.
And out of the state and out of the
Went
country.
To Harvard, Yale, all those places.
Yes.
With Hattiesburg Public School District.
Right, you sure did. And so this is how the Katrina Project was created and presented by Mr. Michael Marks of Hattiesburg High School Drama Department. You all were out because of Katrina, and there was nothing to do. And you came up with the idea of putting together this project. Is that right?
Yes, and you know, so much can come out of personal tragedy.
Yes.
I lost my home, and I was on Adeline Street here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, not on the Gulf Coast. But a couple of minutes into Katrina arriving in Hattiesburg, I had 4 oak trees through my house. And, you know, everybody said, well, you know, we didn't know. You look good, you dress well. It's because the only rooms I had left was my bedroom with my clothes closet and my bathroom.
So you lost your home.
Yes, I went from 10-room house to 2 rooms. I was looted twice, had no doors, no windows. But you know, we persevere, and I wouldn't trade what unfolded after that for anything in the world.
Yes, yes. You know, as you and I were talking prior to the show, we look for the good of something.
Absolutely.
That comes out of anything.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely correct. You know, we were without water and electricity for almost a month here in Hattiesburg, and I had so many students in the theater and debate department at Hattiesburg High School that not only didn't have anything to do, no focus, but many of them were victims of the storm.
Wow.
But in that interim, we put them on the road. I saw an opportunity to help Mississippi heal.
Wow.
And so they were trained by the University of Southern Mississippi's Oral History and Cultural Heritage Department in interview technique. And they interviewed people from Memphis to New Orleans to the Gulf Coast, wherever they had relatives and friends and could go. Yes, ma'am. And those interviews became the basis of the script. Using the theater tectonic method, those interviews became the script of Katrina, Project Hell and High Water.
People don't know what go into doing a project like that.
Well, it takes a lot, and we really didn't know because we didn't plan this. I mean, who plans a catastrophe of this enormity,
That's
a
right.
Category 5 storm? But
Right.
suddenly we were faced with it.
Yes.
I tell you, we had planned to go to the state theater championships.
Yes.
And the show that we had planned to take was suddenly called back because they were going to reopen on Broadway. So with no water, no electricity, and now no show, I saw an opportunity to not only help Mississippi start the healing process,
Wow.
but also create a vehicle where we could tell our stories,
Right.
use our voices
Yes.
to tell what was happening. Because most of the national media focused on New Orleans.
Yeah.
You didn't hear
That's right.
what happened in Mississippi. And the hurricane really never hit New Orleans.
That's right.
It was the water damage
Yeah,
that happened there.
That's right. And I was reading in this script that you gave me. I want to read this little part. On August 29th, 2005, Hurricane Katrina slammed into the Gulf Coast, shattering the lives of residents in Alabama, Florida, Louisiana, and Mississippi. But like you say, the spotlight was on Louisiana.
Yes.
But we were all impacted by
Oh,
the
absolutely.
storm.
It was a storm that was 5 states wide.
Yes.
You know, Category 5, and it doesn't get any
Bigger
worse
than
than
it.
that.
That's right.
You know, but as I said before, this is an experience that I lived, and I saw an opportunity to document what actually happened in Mississippi. And as I say before, what happened, I would not trade anything for. The experiences that my students were able to get, that the faculty who were on my staff, it was really quite something. You know, the national media, and I remember Reverend Al Sharpton, making a statement to the national media, and he really chastised them for calling the folks who left the South during the storm. They kept calling them refugees.
Wow.
And we weren't refugees.
Is
We
that-
weren't from Afghanistan. We
No.
weren't from the Persian Gulf.
We were from right here at home.
We are Americans.
Absolutely.
And so we were evacuees. And so he changed the national dialogue. And I just remember I was affiliated with the National Education Association at the time as a national leader. And I just remember the first time I went back to Washington, people on our national board of directors said, I've got somebody from Hattiesburg, Mississippi in my classroom. I mean, there were 20 or 30 teachers that said that. And so we know that we were spread to kingdom come, as they say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're just so grateful that people took us in. Because those babies arrived with no school records, no clothes, no food, no anything. And people were very, very generous. And we discovered that if you leave Americans to themselves,
they can survive.
yes,
They can
people will help
survive.
each other. And they will have hope.
And it's so important that we know how to talk about people and to people, because that was a bad statement to call us refugees.
Absolutely.
You know, we need to, and sometimes we don't mean any harm, but we just need to be more conscious of how we talk.
It was demoralizing and
Yes,
insensitive.
absolutely, absolutely. Now, Mr. Morris, we want to talk about you for a moment. Tell us about you. Are you from this area?
I'm from 75 miles west from Magnolia, Mississippi.
Magnolia.
Yeah, 4 miles south of Macomb, but we're the county seat of Pike, and we never let them forget it.
Oh, okay. Now, where did you go to high school?
I went to South Pike High School in Magnolia, and then I came to the University of Southern Mississippi in 1974 as a 15-year-old freshman.
Wow.
And I've been here 52 years.
52 years. So I think you can call this home.
It is home. This is
Yes,
home.
This is home. Well, you've done so many things and you've won so many awards and you've touched so many students' lives. Have you worked with students and it seems like there was nothing there, but after you worked with them, you pulled it out and they were really great in what they did?
You know, you don't ever know what talent students possess.
Absolutely.
I had a student whose name was Kelly Palin, and she said, Mr. Marks, I don't think I'll ever be a great actress. And I said, well, Kelly, there are many, many jobs that you can do in the theater. You know, there's makeup, there's wardrobe, there's technical theater. And so, you know, she dabbled, and when she left high school, many, many years later, she called me and we had a conversation, and she said, Mr. Marks, I just want you to know that I'm the press representative for The Lion King on Broadway.
Lion King.
You don't ever know. You don't ever know.
Didn't that make you feel good?
Well, it did. And you know, the Hattiesburg Public School District was full of talent like that.
Absolutely.
She wasn't the only one. You know, we've had kids that have been, Rashad Naylor, for example.
You took it out of my mouth,
yes,
Rashad Naylor. Yeah.
He created a role in Hairspray. And the proud teacher was on the front row the night it opened on Broadway.
In New York.
Absolutely. I was going to be there.
So you've seen that.
I've seen that. And, you know, we had kids who were in Black Panther.
Right.
We've had kids who've been in many, many shows on Broadway. And it's just a great feeling to know that the product that public schools put out never fails us.
And,
it
it
never
doesn't
fails
matter
us.
where the students are from.
Oh, that's right. And
they are from all localities.
that is correct. And I can't take credit for all of them. All of our teachers had a part in that.
Absolutely.
You know, because what would Rashad be without a history teacher?
Absolutely.
What would he have
a
been
language
without
teacher.
Absolutely. Or the early years in band.
Absolutely.
You know, so it
Absolutely.
was the total totalitarian effect. And we just, you know, Hattiesburg Public Schools always celebrated kids. I always say it's the Renaissance man. But you're good at many, many things to be a well-rounded kid.
You won't believe this, but when I was in elementary and high school, I did a lot of acting. In fact, I did a play I participated in a play called We're All Guilty.
Okay.
And I spoke 342 times.
Oh, my stars.
And the coach from Jackson State was supposed to come out and audition me, but he didn't come. So I didn't get a chance to,
Right.
But I loved acting.
But you have a sense of what goes into a production.
I do.
And so many people don't. You know, I've always said that theater can certainly entertain, but I think it has a deeper obligation to educate.
It does.
So, and to create that sense of civic worth. So when we would do productions, so when we did the Laramie Project, for example, we mobilized the AIDS and HIV community and had talkbacks. When we did Oklahoma, we donated money to the federal building that had been blown up there.
Wow.
You know, so we always connected with the real world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what was really important was that our kids get a sense of, we don't do this for us.
We're doing it for the people.
That is correct. That is correct. What is our message and what do we want them to remember?
And it's so exciting when you're getting ready for a production.
It is.
I love it.
It's a good feeling. You know, you mentioned that I chair the Hattiesburg Hall of Fame, and we're getting ready for that in the next few days. And one of my students, Brett Boyles, who was a member of my youth Congress team at Hattiesburg High School, is one of the inductees. Now, I don't pick the inductees. The Hattiesburg Public School District Foundation does that. But he was the one who, as Trent Lott's chief of staff in Washington, D.C., invited the Katrina Project as a command performance for Congress.
Wow.
And we were able to raise $500,000 for natural disaster victims.
Have you had anything where you brought the students back together? Well, you had something where you give awards to outstanding people in Hattiesburg.
Yes.
Rashad got one of those awards.
Yes. Yeah. But beyond that, I was so fortunate to receive our city's Hub Award
Tell us
2
about
years
it.
ago. And I guess it's like the highest civilian award that you can get in Hattiesburg. And I was real honored. But I was even more honored to have so many students come back.
Oh, wow.
And we had a big reunion that night. And they flew in from Washington State, from Washington, D.C., from Florida,
So you had a
Atlanta, from all
reunion.
over the country. And we had quite a time. And it was like we had never missed a beat.
Wow.
You know, and I was able to share in their successes, and because I keep up with them.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And students like when you keep up with them.
Oh, absolutely.
And know what they're doing and compliment them.
Absolutely. And you know, when you're on the road every weekend of your life with the debate team, that's like family.
It is. They,
You know?
they become family
Yeah,
to you.
absolutely.
People you spend time with, most
That's right.
time with.
That's right.
That's right. Now, how old were you when you found out you had this gift of of acting?
Well, listen, I can remember even as a 10-year-old, I was rounding up community kids to have plays in the backyard.
Wow.
So, and both my parents were teachers. All my aunts and uncles and cousins were teachers. So I knew education was in my genetic makeup. But I went to a play. My mom, I was a 10-year-old kid in Magnolia, Mississippi, didn't have much of a social life. So my mom asked me if I wanted to go with her to see the senior play at what was the old Berglund High School in Macomb, Mississippi. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. And so they were producing Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. And I was so moved by the sets and the drama and the lights and the costumes. And I just sat there and I thought, how cool would it be to do this for a living? And that's what I did.
You were mesmerized by all of
Yes,
that.
ma'am, I was. I was transformed.
Wow. I can remember I did my first speech when I was 7 years old. It was a welcome address. And I got a standing ovation. And after then, I just wanted to write speeches all the time and give them. And I can remember when I was in the 8th grade, I did a speech called Bobby Sock. And when it's in you,
Yes.
it
gets
has
in your
to come
blood.
out of you. It does. And I guess that's why I'm doing television now, because I want to reach a mass of the people and talk to them and express myself.
And it's a skill set.
Yes.
Not everybody can do it.
Yes.
And you have found a vehicle for your mission.
Yes.
I went to college on primarily on public speaking scholarships through 4-H and
Yeah, I
Elks
used to
and
do 4-H,
Yes,
yeah.
my daddy lined me up at 9 years
Yeah.
old at the Pike County Public Speaking
Yeah.
contest, and I won.
Yeah.
One but one of us in the contest,
Right,
but
right.
I was the winner.
I can remember I won,
Yeah.
and we went to Alcorn.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But it was the start of something big, and you get bitten with that bug, and you find out there's power in speech. And I always tell my kids, if you can communicate, whether you are a ditch digger, a king, a president, it doesn't matter. Even a ditch digger at some point has to tell somebody how long, how wide.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so that is the one
Yeah.
skill that the business world tells us
That's right.
they
That's
must
right.
have.
People are impressed with people who can express themselves verbally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you might not be able to do math, but if you can
That's
express
right.
yourself.
Yeah, I still can't do math.
I don't either. I wasn't good at math. That was
That
not
wasn't
my
my
cup
thing.
of tea. But we made it in other areas.
That's
didn't
right.
we?
We made up for it.
I'm talking today with Mr. Michael Marks, and he has so many nuggets he's given us, and I know you're enjoying what he's saying. So I want you to stay tuned. Don't turn it off now, because we have much more to tell you today with Mr. Michael Marks. We'll be right back.
If you are being blessed by this program, we need your financial support at this time. Please consider becoming a partner or making a donation to this ministry. Donations can be made using PayPal at Hannah Hopkins Ministries or by mailing your donation to P.O. Box 17405, Hattiesburg, Mississippi 39404. We appreciate your financial support. Please pray about being a part of spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ during this crucial time by making your donation today. If you have a prayer request, please call us. If you don't get an answer, please leave your name and number and someone will call you back.
Here at Studio 88, our mission is to help Hattiesburg and the surrounding area create great content to promote your business and your personal brand. Studio 88 is a podcast and video content studio where we have all the equipment you need to simply come in and make great content. So if you're finally ready to create that podcast, or you simply want to make better content to post online, you can visit us at createwithstudio88.com and book your first session with us today.
I'm talking today with Mr. Michael Marks, who wears many hats. He's retired, but he hasn't retired. We don't retire, do we?
No, retirement doesn't agree with me.
No.
I retired 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Because you worked at Forest General for a while, didn't you?
I did 30 years of teaching in public schools, and then 6 years with the National Education Association, the
Yes,
Teachers
you
Union.
did.
4 years with the State Teachers Union, and then a decade of directing public relations at Forest General Hospital.
Wow.
And so now I just kind of do what I want to do.
That's right.
Yeah,
But you're
and
still enjoying what you're doing.
Absolutely, and I'm doing all the things that I never had time to do.
That's right. And that's a good feeling.
It is.
That's the way it is with me. Yes. I want to talk about Hattiesburg High. How long did you work at Hattiesburg High School?
I was at Hattiesburg High School for 20 years. In my teaching career, I started when I was 19 years old at Lumberton High School. So I was there for 5 years, and then I followed a really good administrator to Perry Central High School. And I was at Perry County Schools for 5 years. And then I moved to Hattiesburg Public Schools, and I was there for 20 years.
Of all the schools that you worked at, which one you think was you had the most success?
Well, I had different degrees of success. I mean, the kids in Perry County, for example, they got to sing at the White House and all kinds of things like that. And they got to go to Broadway. And now the teacher in me had told them, no slant to New Augusta, for example. I said, but now, we're going to have to dress up when we go to Broadway. You're going to have to do that.
Can't wear your overalls.
I don't mean new blue jeans. I mean, you're going to do something different. And so I was so proud because this was back during the age of Saturday Night Fever and all that. So they were coming down the street in the powder blue tuxes and the handkerchief dresses. It got to the theater. Real learning point for teacher and students alike. We got to the theater and everybody was in blue jeans. Nobody dresses up for Broadway unless it's opening night. So I got to learn a little something too. So that was a measure of success. Even in Lumberton, the show choir that I directed did a tour of city schools in Austin, Texas. And we had just pulled out not long down the road in our vans. And I looked back in the back of the van, and this big old guy who was our roadie, he did our speakers and sound system, and he just had tears running down his eyes. I said, Bobo, what's wrong? And he said, and we had just crossed the Louisiana line. He said, this is the furthest I've ever been in my life.
Are you serious?
So when you ask about success, it's really measured in where you start. And so for so many of the kids, theater and debate has opened so many doors.
They've gone places they've never gone, done things they've never done.
Could never have even imagined.
And met people they thought they'd never meet.
Absolutely.
And brought out the best in them.
Yes, and represented our community so well. I can remember when our cast of The Wiz represented America in Scotland at the Edinburgh Theatre Festival. And this is the best theater from around the world.
Now, what school was that?
This was Hattiesburg High School, our cast of The Wiz. And this community was so gracious, we had to raise $150,000, I think, to be able to take, because it was a cast of 32. So we had to fly everybody to Scotland. And we got to perform for the Queen of England. And I mean, there were different levels of success. And I will say that's also the scariest I've ever been, because we flew 2 weeks after that flight to Scotland blew up.
Wow.
And so we had some teary-eyed mamas and daddies that were there to see us off. And they said, are you sure y'all going to go? I said, now, we don't work for $150,000. Yeah, we going.
Wow.
I said, because this is probably the safest time ever to fly.
Yeah,
because everybody's on guard.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Now, how long did it take you all to raise that kind of money?
It took a and we went into it knowing, and Superintendent Gordon Walker worked with us to lay out a plan, and it was kind of threefold. We were going to use The Wiz, and it sold out and ran 4 nights, and we had to hold it over, but those tickets supplied a third of the money. And then we had some very generous parents who donated a candy red apple Mitsubishi Eclipse.
What?
And we sold raffle tickets to it. We took it to USM, we took it to Camp Shelby, we took it to every ball game that was around, and that was also a fundraiser. And then the school beauty pageant that Debate and Theater sponsored, also helped us to generate money. But we made it by the grace of God.
It's so important to have your administrators behind you.
Oh, absolutely.
And Dr. Walker was always working with the people to try to make things be successful.
Absolutely. And when he hired me, he said, there are two things I need you to know. Yes, I want you to win state debate championship. He said, but I also want you to be a source of good news to this community. So I took both of them very seriously.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. What are some of the most prestigious places that you've gone to? You've taken your student. You went to Scotland. You've gone other places, other countries, right?
Sure. Like I said, I remember one of the biggest honors was performing for Congress. And when we went to Washington, D.C. to perform for the National Congress, that was a huge moment for our program. And just by luck, the Forest County Board of Supervisors was there for a conference, so we had home folks in the audience.
Wow, that made you feel even better.
They got to come, and that was and raising that $500,000 for natural disaster victims, that was huge for us.
Right. How many places did you perform with Katrina? Hell or High Water?
Well, I'm trying to think. I'll think of the places that we went. I don't know what the number was, but we went to Washington, D.C., we played Boston, we played Memphis, we played Orlando, we went to Dallas, Philadelphia, Greenville, Mississippi. We avoided the Gulf Coast because it was just too raw. They were living it. They didn't need to hear the story,
And the people thoroughly enjoyed it.
Absolutely, they did.
It's enjoyable, but it's sad too, and it brings back memories.
Yes, and I remember what Hallie Paul said, and she's the daughter of our university president, and she kept saying, we have to be careful in our storytelling because it is so raw. We have to be sensitive to people's lives.
We have
to be.
So
it's not just enough to do the right thing, you've got to do it in the right way.
That's right. And if you see it's impacting people's lives,
oh, absolutely,
you have to just be conscious of that.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you something else. At the 10th anniversary, we did have a reunion. It was a different cast, but Clifton Hyde, who was one of our theater students, by now was on Broadway as a member of Blue Man Group, and he wrote original music for the Katrina project, and we started all over again at the 10th anniversary. And so here we are at the 20th anniversary, and still connecting with students,
was he
still
related
trying
to
to
Sarah
do good
Hyde?
things. That was her older brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
I taught Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they both were a handful. You survived.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you don't ever know where your students are. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know how the Lord has blessed them.
That's right.
So it's good to be able to reconnect with them so they'll
That's correct.
talk to you and you can talk to them.
That's right.
Mr. Marks, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. It's really been, I learned a lot. I knew some of these things and others I didn't know. But for the audience, they learned a lot about you and what you stand for and how you have helped our community. And we appreciate that.
Well, congratulations on your honors, Dr. Hopkins.
Oh, well,
and
thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah. And maybe we'll get together again.
That'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Can I have a handshake?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you again.
My pleasure.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed today's program. I was blessed by it. I learned a lot. And until next time, this is Hannah Hopkins with Lifting You Higher Ministries saying, you be blessed.
Here at Studio 88, our mission is to help Hattiesburg and the surrounding area create great content to promote your business and your personal brand. Studio 88 is a podcast and video content studio where we have all the equipment you need to simply come in and make great content. So if you're finally ready to create that podcast, or you simply want to make better content to post online, you can visit us at createwithstudio88.com and book your first session with us today.